Right, it's sunny here, and when it's sunny, you go out and you bring filming with you. This is actually one of the daily habits that changed my life, but that is another video, which I already did. This is the video about the productive daily habits that I have and had a huge impact on my life. And now I notice that it's very distracting to have all these things because I'm under this pergola. Am I pronouncing it right? Please let me know. In our garden, which has beautiful flowers. So I thought I would film here, but this, yeah, can I film the whole video like this? I totally can. So let's start with the productive habits, shall we? I think it's the perfect time right now to get into these productive daily habits to get most out of our days, which is making our lives in the end. And you know this. If you're already subscribed and if you're already in my YouTube family, you know that I say this a lot, but our lives consist of our days. And it's really important for us to get the most of our days. Anyway, the first one is planning. What a shock. But I'm talking about particularly daily planning. Of course, there are different types of planning, weekly, monthly, life planning, goal planning, this and that. But what I'm talking about here is daily planning, where you plan the next day every single evening or plan the day every single morning. Use paper planning or electronic means or Google Calendar, whatever works for you. Plan your days. This is a daily habit that I have for years now, and I think this is what's making me use my time the most effectively. What I love to do is actually plan my day the night before on my paper planner from ToDo, and in the morning I block my calendar if it's already not filled with other things, because of course sometimes the previous weeks I get in, meeting invitations and stuff like that. So I already have some things in my Google Calendar, but I block the whole day in the morning. That's literally the first thing I do when I get to my home office. Productive daily habit number 2 is inbox zero. This is a system that I've been using for a while again, and I absolutely love it, which is basically bringing all your inboxes to 0 new entries, 0 new emails, 0 new messages, as much as possible. And I use it like this. Every morning when I start my workday, after the plan, I have an hour of inbox zero. I have about 16 inboxes that I personally check. Crazy, I know, but I have a list of these in my planner, and I go through these inboxes, from 1 to 16 every single morning for an hour. If I get to 0, that's great. If I don't, I still stop after an hour, and I do one more of these sessions in the evening between 5 and 6, maybe 5:30 to 6. I don't spend 2 full hours a day. Generally, it's 1.5 hours. So what happens is I check my emails and all my other inboxes, including WhatsApp, only twice a day. So I'm not that responsive person. I only check them when I want to check them, and it's enough to check them for 1.5 hours rather than, constantly back and forth emailing with people. That is massively useful if you don't want to be a slave to your emails. Productive daily habit number 3 is actually keeping my phone on silent pretty much at all times. Why do I do this? It's crazy, right? So I don't like being responsive all the time. Maybe I'm really concentrated doing something, writing something, or, filming right now, and somebody calls me, and it's generally not taking like 1-2 minutes. It's a 10-15 minute call, if not longer, but also I get out of this concentration and I get back into it, which is another 10-15 minutes. And I don't want to lose that half an hour a couple of times a day. Does that make sense? So what I do is I keep my phone on silent. I know that if it's an urgent matter, they will reach me somehow. They will call my husband, they will call my family, so they will reach me somehow. And I do take regular breaks, about every 1.5 hours. I do check my phone. If somebody called me, if somebody messaged me, if there's anything urgent about it, I quickly check. Most of the time when someone calls me, they either leave a voice message or they generally send me a WhatsApp as well. So I know what it's about. And if it's urgent, I'll call them back during that break. If it's not, I'll call them during my inbox zero hour, which is me responding back, right? So I generally don't answer the phone calls, which is at first very hard to explain to your family and your friends because they think that you don't care. But once they understand, once you explain, it really works well. And again, I control my time. I do what I want to do with that time, and when I want to answer phone calls, I call them back. So that's another one of my daily productive habits that again change the way I work, because I really think that our lives and our businesses expand the most when we put full concentration into high impact tasks where you should not be disturbed. So I'm on constantly do not disturb mode. The next productive habit is actually tidying around the house daily. That is something I need to have my, brain at ease. I don't like clutter. I don't like things to be out of place. I love organization and I like keeping my house tidy. And the habit that I have attached to this to get this outcome in my life is to actually tidy every evening before I go to bed. I generally don't have a massive clutter to tidy because I'm usually quite tidy already. But I like to put things into place before I go to bed so I wake up to a new, really nice, clean morning. And that is changing my mood instantly. If I have, dishes in the sink, I don't start my day as great as I could if I did that the night before. And if you can't do that, maybe you have a family and you do other things before bed, maybe you can take a mind break from your work, which is resting your mind, but you can still do something, physically, which is basically tidying your house. I think half an hour a day goes a long way, and having this daily habit of tidying, yes, keeps the house clean, but also, like I said, keeps your mind clean as well. We know this scientifically, that when we live and work in areas that are not tidy, we're not at our full potential. So that is another habit that I highly recommend having sooner than later, and it comes handy in many, many ways. The next one is having a habit of organizing. That is kind of my hobby, so it's easy for me to talk about this. I enjoy looking at places in my house and finding ways to organize them better to serve me and my life better. So when I look at the kitchen, if I see that the plates are a little bit too far away from the oven, I would just try to think about a way to make them closer so that it will be more convenient for me to use. And when I walk around the house, my mind generally works like that. Like, what can I do better? How can I organize better? And how can I make it more functional for me? Which will, in return, save time, because I won't be going back and forth finding things if they're optimized to the best. This organizational habit, like I said, is a hobby for me. So I have like bursts of organizational moments. Like last weekend, I had this urge to organize areas, and we did this corner in the garden, but also I organized the living room, the kitchen. I completely redid the pantry. I organized my husband's closet. So yeah, now I feel like it's a new house, and it makes me happy, especially now with the lockdown. We're in the same environment constantly, and I think just changing things up with this organization is also going to make it really nice for you. It's almost going to be like you're living in a new house. So changing things up, organizing, switching up the furniture and everything like that, I think is a great habit to have. Don't change the furniture every day, but you know what I mean. It's a great habit to organize daily and think about how things will work better for you in the house daily. Will make you very, very happy if you're anything like me. Probably you are. Don't we all love structure? Deep down, don't we all love structure? And that's why we have governments and other, structural elements, because humanity always loved structure. So they came up with the, things that we know now in life. Now we're going into philosophy. Let's not do that. Let's go back to the productive daily habits. Oh my God, how many times did I say that in this video? The next one is waking up early. What a surprise. But it is really productive, and it is not the same of, sleeping late but still having the same amount of hours awake. So what's a different kind of way? It's not like that. I'm not going to get into too much detail because I did in my previous video, which I'll leave in the description box below, just explaining why it's different to wake up earlier and if you should, wake up earlier. It's not about it's cool to wake up at 5:30. It's not cool to wake up at 5:30, okay? It's not cool, but it is productive. And once your body learns how to wake up at 5:30, and once you get into the habit of it, it's really, really useful. I'm not saying it's cool. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's productive and useful. And of course, before the world wakes up, those 2-3 hours, you get so much done. So much. And that's why I do it. But go watch that video so that you'll understand more about why you should also maybe do it. The next one is taking supplements. And how is this about productivity? Well, it's increasing how your body works, right? I'm not talking about crazy supplements. I'm talking about having a blood work done, understanding what your body needs, and supplementing those needs. And trust me, when you give your body what it lacks, it will change the way it performs. And when your body and your mind performs better, your productivity goes higher. I think that's a no-brainer. I have another video about the supplements I take personally and I love using. And like I said, it's not something that you just go and buy. Do your research about it. But I think taking supplements every day is actually a really good productive daily habit to have. The next one is the best one and the last one is basically separating ideas from to-do items. So what I mean by that is when something comes, through an email or an idea or something that you write down in your to-do list, that is probably not the best idea. Why? Because probably you didn't think about it enough. If it's really something that you need to be doing, is it going to have an impact in your life that makes the effort, legit? Or if it's something that resonates with you and your values and your lifestyle, what I like to do is I put all of these incoming things into one sheet in my planner, and I call that inbox. So it's a catch-all kind of page, and I just write them down there. They accumulate there for a week. After a week, so after I slept on all of these things for a couple of days, I go through that list and understand if there's something that I just wrote down because I felt enthusiastic about it, or if it's really something I need to do, so it will go to one of my to-do lists, or is it just an idea? It would be nice to do in the future, but not now, because if I put that idea to my to-do list is gonna go crazy and it's already long enough. I want to separate these things so that it doesn't overwhelm me. And when I say it, I mean my to-do list system, not just one list. But separating ideas from actual to-dos is a really great way to manage your tasks that will keep you more productive. The more we have on our to-do list, the more we feel overwhelmed and the less we feel productive. So definitely separate ideas from to-do lists, and probably the best way to do it is to sleep on the incoming thing for a day or two and understand if it's something that you really actually have to do. So these are the productive daily habits I wanted to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. And don't forget to join the family if you like the content here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in another productivity and time management related video. Until then, stay healthy, happy, and productive. Take care. Mwah.